So students, in my last class, I have discussed the duties and responsibilities. I have started the discussion on duties and responsibilities of deductor or collector in relation to TDS or TCS. So today I will start the second point of duties and responsibilities of deductor or collector, which is liability to deduct or collect tax at source at the rates prescribed under the Income Tax Act. So it's not that simply the deductor or collector will charge TDS. That has to be done according to the Income Tax Act, and rates are prescribed under Income Tax Act for different type of payments. For example, you see here, for salaries under section 192, the provisions are given relating to TDS. If any interest is payable on securities by a company, for example, suppose ABC Limited has to pay interest on its debentures, then the provision relating to deduction of tax, that is TDS, by such company on the payment of interest is covered under section 193. For dividend payment, the provisions are given in section 194. Then other than interest on securities, there may be some other interest. Okay. So such interest, like interest on loan or any other interest payable on securities, for such payments, the provisions are given in section 194A. Then suppose there is any kind of income from lottery or crossword puzzles or TV games, then provisions relating to TDS are given in 194B. Say, for example, if a person has won in KBC, a person has won 10 lakhs, then it's not that the person gets 10 lakh. The people who are the organizers of the program, they will deduct 30% or whatever tax rate, whatever TDS is there, they will deduct from the prize money, and they will pay the remainder to the recipient, to the winner. So different types of payments cover payment to contractor and subcontractors, any kind of insurance company that is paid by a company to its agents, okay, to its insurance agents, any kind of commission or brokerage. Then suppose a person purchases immovable property, then payment is made for that, right? So for that also there is a provision for deducting TDS under section 194 1A. Then this you will find it surprising, but suppose a person is paying rent and the monthly rent is more than rupees 50,000. In such case, the tenant, the person who is paying the rent, will have to deduct TDS before paying to the landlord and deposit it to the government treasury. So interesting, right? Then for professional or technical services, if any fees is required to be paid, then provisions are given in 194J. Any kind of income that is payable by mutual funds or unit trust of India or any mutual fund, that income, for that also TDS is deducted and given. Then remaining you can just go through, you will understand. So regarding all these payments, I tell you, regarding all these payments, the TDS rates, very in a brief, I have tried to give you the TDS rates. Whole provision I'm not going to discuss, but under section 192, what is the provision? So for salary income, it's simply that first the income tax is calculated on the tax slab rates. Okay, tax slab rates are there, no? I have discussed, your other teacher has discussed on the old or new tax regime. At present, a person has the option to choose that whether the person wants to opt for old tax regime or new tax regime. And accordingly, tax rates are different. So income tax is calculated based on old or new tax regime, and after calculating the total tax for the year, the estimated tax for the year, it is divided by 12 and monthly TDS can be arrived at. Then for interest on securities under 193, first, the company which is paying interest on securities, they will have to see that if they are paying interest in excess of rupees 10,000, then they will have to deduct TDS at the rate of 10%. But however, if the debentures are unlisted, unlisted means not listed in stock exchange. So in case of unlisted debentures, The TDS of 10% is applicable even if the payment is in excess of 5,000. That means for listed debentures, if the payment is above 10,000, then the TDS is 10%. But in case of unlisted debentures, even if the payment is in excess of 5,000, then 10% payment is deducted. Regarding dividend on shares, you have to see, the company has to see that the dividend is being paid to the resident shareholders or non-resident shareholders. In case of resident shareholders, the TDS is 10%. But the condition is that the dividend amount should be more than 5,000. However, in the financial year 2020-21, that means in the previous year, for at present we have the assessment year 21-22, and for the previous year 2021 the rate was reduced to 7.5% because of the COVID pandemic. However, the main rate is 10%. And for non-resident shareholders also, the tax deduction will be how much? 10% on the entire dividend. That means no restriction, like no condition of rupees 5,000 is required to be fulfilled. Whatever is payable, whatever dividend is payable, on that tax TDS will be 10%. But it's also necessary that PAN of the shareholder should be updated with the company or the depository through which they have invested the amount. In case of insurance commission, if an agent is getting insurance commission at the rate of say at an amount of rupees 15,000, okay, so if the company is paying rupees 15,000 in any year to the creditor of the account of any agent, okay, then in such case they will deduct TDS. In case of resident person, they will deduct 5%. In case of company, they will deduct 10%. So dear students, you must understand here that an agent can be a person, an individual, or it can be a company also. Many companies are nowadays doing the work of what? Doing the work of insurance agency. Okay. So in such case, they will have to deduct. They will have to see, the company which is paying the commission will have to see that if they are paying to resident person other than company, they will have to deduct 5%. And in case of domestic company, they will have to deduct 10%. This resident person or domestic company is for understanding from the perspective of agent, that whether agent is person or company. Then the next point is for immovable property. So if a person is buying an immovable property, then first they have to see that the condition is that the transaction value should be more than 50 lakhs. And if the transaction value is more than 50 lakhs and the immovable property is not an agricultural land, this is very important, okay? This provision is not applicable in case of agricultural land. So if the immovable property is of value of more than 50 lakhs and it is not an agricultural land, then the buyer has to deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. 1% of what? Total sale amount. Then in case of rent payment, as I told you earlier, if the rent payment is more than rupees 50,000 per month, or if the rent is payable by individual or HUF, okay, just remember these things are very important and very critical. So it's not applicable for all, only in case of individual or HUF. There are different categories of persons, but this provision is applicable only for individual and HUF tenant. Okay, Bharatiya jitu ami ko. So these people, when they will pay a rent to the landlord should also be resident, not an NRI, okay, not a non-resident. So if the tenant is individual or HUF and they are paying to a resident landlord, then if the amount of rent is more than rupees 50,000 per month or part of the month, then they will deduct. Who will deduct? Before, at the time of paying rent, the individual or HUF will deduct how much? Income tax. How much? 5%. However, for the financial year 2021, the rate has been reduced to 3.75% because of COVID pandemic. The next is payment to resident contractors or professionals exceeding rupees 50 lakhs in a financial year. It is rupees. So this section was introduced in the year Finance Act of 2019. And it is also applicable to individual and HUF. And if a person is hiring the services of any contractors or professionals for doing their work, then they are, one more thing has to be seen, that this individual or HUF is not liable to tax audit. Okay, the person should be an individual or HUF and should not be liable to tax audit. So as per this provision, if the payment to the contractor or professional by that individual or HUF who is not liable to tax audit, if the payment is more than rupees 50 lakhs in a financial year, then the TDS has to be how much? 5% of the amount payable. Then next point is purchase of goods of the value exceeding 50 lakhs in a financial year. This section 194Q, this is also a very new provision. In fact, very, very new, because it has been applicable from the date 1st July 2021. And under this section, you have to see some things, that the buyer, if a person is buying goods, okay, purchaser, if the person is a purchaser or buyer of goods and the value of goods is more than 50 lakhs, and the buyer, he or she has the total sales or gross receipts from business exceeding rupees 10 crores during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which such goods were purchased. For example, take our case, our assessment year is 21-22. So the previous year is 2021. So in the year 2021, if the person is buying goods exceeding rupees 50 lakhs and previous to the previous year, that means in the year 1920, if the gross sales, if the total sales or gross receipts or turnover from the business of that buyer is more than rupees 10 crores, then that buyer will have to deduct TDS before making the payment. However, some more conditions are required to be fulfilled. The first is that the purchase should be from a resident person. That means seller should be a resident. Then the second condition is that, this I have already discussed, that the purchase should be of a value exceeding 50 lakhs in any previous year. Not one sale, total purchase should be 50 lakhs. And then buyer should not be in the list of persons excluded. From what? From the TDS provision. Some buyers, they are excluded. For them, I discussed in my last class, for them TAN is not required. So the buyer should not be in the list of that exempted persons. And the tax shall be deducted by the buyer of goods at the rate of how much? 0.1% of the purchase value. Okay, and how much? Purchase value exceeding rupees 50 lakhs. Exceeding rupees 50 lakhs, that means if the amount of purchase is 54 lakhs, then exceeding 50 lakhs, it is 4 lakhs. So on 4 lakhs, the buyer will deduct how much? 0.1% TDS. And if the seller has not given the Aadhaar or PAN, then tax will be deducted at a very high rate of 5%. In case the PAN or Aadhaar is not given by the seller. Then this much only I'm going to discuss today regarding the rates of TDS. And then I'm going to discuss about a very important thing that you should know as a commerce student, that sometimes TDS is deducted at a higher rate. Say rate is 2% or 1%, but tax may be deducted at 5% or 10% also. Why? When? What are the situations? So the basic sections governing this is 206AA and 206AB. You see this point also, this line, that if the PAN or Aadhaar is not given, then tax will be deducted at 5%. From 0.1%, it became 5%. So the provisions are given in section 206AA and 206AB. These are newly inserted provisions. In case for the buyer or whoever the person is, whoever the recipient of the income is, if the recipient does not give the PAN, in fact also Aadhaar, if Aadhaar is there, PAN will be there. So if the person does not give PAN or Aadhaar to the deductor, then the rate of TDS shall be the higher of the TDS rate prescribed in the Act, or rate of tax in force, or at 20%, that is maximum 20%, or it will be more than the rate given in the Act. Okay, how much more? That will be given in prescribed sections. And if a person has not filed income tax return for last 2 assessment years, then under the provisions of section 206AB, the This also is very new. Okay, this is from 1st July 2021. So let me continue. Under the provisions of section 206 AB, if a person has not filed income tax return for 2 years, consecutive 2 years previous to the current financial year, then the TDS will be deducted at higher rate, and it may also be double the rate of the rates prevailing under the Act. And one more condition, TDS in the previous 2 years was 50,000 or more. Let me make it clear for you. Suppose I am getting salary income. So if I have not filed my income tax return for 2 previous years, so for my previous year 2021, if I have not filed my income tax return for 18-19 and 19-20, then, and suppose my TDS is more than 50, not suppose, and my TDS in the previous 2 years was rupees 50,000. So two things, I have not filed my income tax return, and the second thing is that my TDS for the last 2 years was 50,000 or more. In such case, in the previous year 2021, my TDS by my employer will be more. And how much? It may even be double the rates that are applicable to me. So just imagine, these things are so important. So you should know, you should understand the importance of filing of income tax return, and PAN is very necessary. It should be quoted almost everywhere so that you are not deprived of any facility, and you are not chargeable to any kind of fine or penalty as of this kind. Then you see, dear students, the third objective was not to make tax deduction where Form 15G and 15H have been submitted by eligible taxpayers, or not to deduct tax at source or deduct at a lower rate where certificate under Section 197 of the Act has been submitted. This I will discuss at length in next class, but just in short, in case you have the study material or books with you, you can study yourself. It's very easy. That means in certain cases, if the recipient of income submits Form 15G and 15H, okay, to the payer, like in bank, we get interest on our deposits. So if 15G or 15H is submitted by the person who has deposited the amount and who will get the interest income, then bank will not deduct TDS. So what is 15G, for whom it is applicable? What is 15H, for whom it is applicable? And what are the rates of TDS? Whether they can be reduced, how much they can be reduced, that we'll discuss in next class. And one more thing is there in this section, in this point, that is not to deduct, that is deduct at a lower rate. Deduct tax at a lower rate where certificate under Section 197 of the Act has been submitted. That means if a person has some kind of financial problems and the person has grounds for applying, then he can do so. He can apply it to the income tax officer, the jurisdictional officer, and if the officer is satisfied, then he will issue certificate under Section 197 of the Act, and this is called certificate for lower rate of TDS. And if this certificate is produced anywhere, then the payer of such income is obliged to deduct TDS at a lower rate, or sometimes not to deduct TDS also. So in next class, we will discuss in length about 15G, 15H and certificate under Section 197. So please, students, I request you, please go through this material, these things, so that you can understand better in the next class. Thank you.